All right, thank you everybody for listening to this presentation. I'm Rick Shintaku, General Manager of South Coast Water District. Tonight we're going to be talking a bit about our water rates and the adjustments that we're proposing for the time period from July 2021 through June 30th, 2023. So the next 2-year rate cycle. Joining me is Pamela Arends King, who is our Chief Financial Officer, along with a number of expert staff, including Sonia Morgan, who is our Public Information Officer, Larry Frigine, who is our Water Recycling and Conservation Manager, Cassandra Garcia, our Customer Service Manager, Mark Cerna, our Chief Engineer, Chris Newton, our Operations Superintendent, and Eric Lenz, who is also a Water Conservation Recycling Manager. So first thing I'm gonna do is show you a video that talks about the rate setting process and South Coast Water District in general. I'll go through the rate study process itself, the legal requirements on why we need to set rates the way we do, the goals of the rate schedule or the rate study itself, the proposed actual water, recycled water, and wastewater rate adjustments, the protest period, public hearing, and any questions. So here is the video.
It's hard to beat living on the beautiful Southern California coast. The views, the sun. It's hard to beat living on the beautiful Southern California coast. The views, the sun, and the sand. Just like any community, coastal living requires essential services such as water and wastewater.
And that's why South Coast Water District works hard to supply safe, reliable, and high-quality water, and wastewater treatment and collection services to protect public health and the environment.
We do this day in and day out while keeping our rates reasonable. Coastal water districts like ours typically have higher water and wastewater rates than inland districts because of increased corrosion from salt air, challenging topography, and higher cost of land.
And because we import nearly all our water from the Sierra Nevadas through the State Water Project and the Colorado River Aqueduct, we do pay a premium for the energy it takes to bring the water to South Orange County. You can depend on and pumps. We're also working on a new project that helps address the impact of climate change on our water supply. The district is committed to doing everything we do for you while ensuring rates that provide water and wastewater service based on actual cost, cover all the district's fixed costs, and keep the district financially stable, and protect customers from rate volatility and ensure rate adjustments are gradual while better aligning costs and revenues.
To ensure that revenue covers the cost of water and wastewater services, the district conducts periodic rate studies. This is when we look at the potential need for rate adjustments, and we make sure to do this regularly to minimize any surprises. The public always has the opportunity to provide input on proposed rate adjustments. Our rate studies and rate adjustments are carefully reviewed by our elected board members before being adopted.
Our commitment to you is unwavering. A safe, reliable, high-quality water supply and wastewater services that protect public health and the environment while keeping rates reasonable for our customers.
Learn more by visiting our website at scwd.org.
So as you can see, there is a lot that goes into setting rates. The bottom line is South Coast Water District has a number of challenges, which I'll go through on the water and wastewater side. But our primary thought is to make sure our investments are cost effective and they're fair fairly distributed among the customers, and I'll go in through that those details in a bit. So the process itself, we commissioned a consultant, financial rate consultant, HF&H, based in Northern California. They've done numerous rate studies for various municipal water and wastewater districts. We held 6 public meetings, so it consisted of board committee meetings, board meetings themselves, and board workshops from the period from January through April of this year. All of these meetings were recorded and are available on our website, along with the staff reports and the PowerPoint presentations. So as a district, as any water and wastewater district or city that handles water and wastewater, we're subject to what's called Proposition 218. And what Proposition 218 does, it was adopted in 1996, but it ensures that anything, all of the costs, so everything we spend money on here is linked directly to the rate for that service. So that's what we call cost of service base. So we cannot spend money that is not linked to a service that we're providing. So that's a very important concept, and it's the law. So what it does is it guarantees that no single class of customer subsidizes another, and it charges each customer proportionally or fairly based on the actual amount that they use or amount of their services as determined by this rate study. So the rate schedule goals, include providing water and wastewater service based on actual costs, to cover costs and maintain financial stability, fairly allocate fixed charges across all service classes, protect customers from rate volatility, and ensure rate adjustments are gradual. 2 things I want to mention too here is financial stability is very important, and it deals with the financial rating that we receive. It's very much like your credit rating for your own personal finances. There, if your credit rating is good on a high level, you're able to borrow money at a low interest rate. Well, that's the same thing for utility. If our rating is high, we're able to borrow money at a lower rate and save you money over the long term. So I'm going to go through the challenges of water and wastewater utility operations along the coast, especially here. So South Coast Water District is at the end of the pipeline. What I mean by that is Metropolitan Water District serves imported water that comes from Northern California and the Colorado River Aqueduct throughout the Southern California area. Here in South Orange County, and specifically South Coast Water District, there is no robust groundwater basin that we're sitting on. So 90% of our water supply, our drinking water supply, comes in from Metropolitan Water District. And I'll get into a bit on why that matters. That increases costs and also increases vulnerability during droughts and emergencies. We also deal with steep topography changes. And while it's very good for views to the ocean, what it does is it creates the need for more water pump stations. So pump stations that bring water uphill. And the same thing for sewer lift stations. There's a lot of movement of sewage uphill in our service area. We have the need for a lot of water storage. So you need storage in each of your service levels. So the different elevation changes, you're going to need water storage at each of those significant levels. Being in a resort area results in tourism and extreme peaks in water demands and sewage flows. So that adds to costs and complications in sizing your facilities to meet all of your peak flows. Um, Also in this area, land is expensive, and purchasing easements or land for our facilities is expensive. We also sit right next to the wildfire fringe in the South Laguna Beach area and in parts of Dana Point. And that's important because we need to size our facilities and plan and design our water system so that we can fight or help fight those fires along the fringes. We're also subject to corrosion by water and wastewater of our water and wastewater facilities by the ocean air. So as just like your car will rust quicker out here, so do our facilities. So we have to put a lot more into rehabilitation and repair for these facilities. We also have logistical challenges. During the seasonal peaks, during the nice summer weather like you're enjoying now, it's tough for us to work in roads. So we have to plan our projects, and in many cases, we'll work at night to get these projects done and pay that premium. We also have a much older or aging infrastructure when you compare us to other newer South Orange County cities. And lastly, the environmental considerations, and definitely not least, we have a near proximity to creeks and the ocean. And hence, our board has adopted a responsible no sewage spill policy. And that is to protect the precious creeks and oceans that we are right next to. So why do we need to adjust our rates? Well, I'll go a little out of order here. The two driving factors here are the increase in our water, in our metropolitan water or the imported water costs. You hear a lot about the Delta fix, the state Delta fix. Well, that directly impacts Metropolitan. Metropolitan receives over half of its water from the Bay Delta. You hear about regional recycling that Met may engage in. Again, that adds reliability but adds costs. So that's what we're working with. The other side, on the sewer side of the coin, all of our sewage is collected and handled by South Coast Water District employees and resources. Once it goes to the treatment plant, we're a part of a joint powers agreement or a group a group of agencies that participate in treating that wastewater. Well, rehab and replacement, repair of those facilities is catching up to us. So there's a lot of costs that we're experiencing now, along with projections. So roughly 8% was the recent jump in our costs from SACWA, and we've been seeing rate increases on average from Metropolitan on the water side of 5 to 6% per year. There's growing regulations for water and wastewater treatment. You hear a lot about that in the news, and we certainly have been putting our attention to that, and you can see that in our annual water quality report, how safe our water supply is. It's important to adjust rates to ensure financial stability, what I talked about there before with the credit card rating, or your credit rating, and to maintain proper financial reserves. And then maintaining aging infrastructure is very important. We don't want to reach a point 20, 30 years from now where everything starts to break in the ground. Your pipelines start to break. It's a nuisance to the community in traffic, but more so, it will cause an extreme jump in costs and rates. And it's a knee-jerk reaction rather than smoothing out these rate increases over the year in a responsible manner and replacing the most infrastructure that are at the most risk and probability of having problems. So what you're looking at is a sample, or it is the calculation for a residential customer with a 3/4 inch meter. So most of you in smaller, medium-sized homes have a 3/4 inch meter. So this is what we're showing. And the example here is someone who uses 9 billing units or CCF, or that's 100 cubic feet of potable water every month. And with this new rate structure change or the new rate adjustments, the monthly bill for the variable rate, so this is the rate, excuse me, this is the monthly bill that you get and you pay, and what it pays for is every billing unit that you use, you pay for that commodity. So that actual rate or that bill would decrease by $42.19 per year with this rate adjustment. However, on the fixed side of it, the third bullet here, your water service peak charge, and we're assuming, I believe, a 1.5 multiplier here. So your second highest month would be 1.5 or 50% more than your average use over the year. And that your overall fixed charge on your property tax bill is projected to increase by $159.81 for the year. So what that results in is this rate adjustment would increase this customer's overall water and sewer costs by $117 per year, and that's roughly $9.80 per month, or $10 a month roughly, or $2.26 per week. So that's what you're looking at for an average 3/4 inch meter. This is an exhibit that explains what I just botched up pretty well on that last slide, but it shows you how our rates are structured. And what we're showing is an example for that 3/4 inch meter here. And on the left side of your screen, you see the fixed costs. So these are the costs that are, we call it fixed charges, that you pay no matter how much you're using. You're going to pay this cost. And the reason why is we have to plan and design our system to serve this projected need and the peaks that you're going to have, and we need to size infrastructure for that. The variable cost on the right side of your screen is paying for your actual use. So when you're using more, we have to purchase more imported water, or we have to treat more groundwater, and that service is charged through the variable costs. Everything else is on the fixed costs. So this is the breakdown of your fixed charges on your property tax bill. On the left side of your screen, you'll see the fixed water charge for this 3/4 inch meter example, $340, plus your fixed sewer charge of $844 per year, plus your peak demand charge, which is you're paying for what you use. So if you're peaking on the system, you're paying that amount, and that's roughly $27 multiplied by your number of billing units. And that's how we come up with what we charge on your property tax bill. Again, it's all tied to the cost of service. We're not collecting anything extra. The only thing extra that would be collected is in the reserves, which are set responsibly so that we can maintain an adequate credit rating. The variable costs, I mentioned again, it's based on your metered water consumption. So you're paying for what you use. And one way, I'm going to go into it a little earlier than I planned, but one way you can reduce your charges here are when you look at your peak demand charge, that is your second highest month in a year. Now, one way, and at your house, on average, you're using about 50% of your water use is outside on your landscape. So your grass, your plants that you're watering outside, all takes up about 50% of your water use. So that is one way to reduce your peak charges. There's a number of landscape conservation rebate programs. Replacing your grass with drought-tolerant landscape could save you money. And there are incentives for you to do that from us through our wholesalers. There's high efficiency nozzles that you can use that will save about 20% of your water use out on your landscape. There's smart timers that adjust the watering based on the satellite data that it's receiving, and on and on. There's a number of these landscape conservation measures that please contact us. We'll walk you through how you can attain this. We'll put information on the website, but that's one way to reduce your overall rate, your bill, and your peak charges. And also it reduces your variable costs on the right side of your screen by participating in these rebate programs. There's also rebate programs for indoor. There's ultra high efficiency toilets out there. And there's a number of other indoor conservation measures that you can participate in rebates there as well. So this is the same exhibit. This is for a 1-inch meter. I'm not going to go through the specifics. It's exactly the same methodology of calculating it. But a 1-inch meter is typically for a larger residence. Recycled water rate adjustment. So those of you who use recycled water, I don't want you to worry, because what we did was we wanted to make sure it was tied to cost of service. Your recycled water rate did go up. However, what I mean by I don't want you to worry is it's still lower than the potable water rate. So you still have an incentive to use recycled water. But the utility has to comply with Proposition 218 and base it on or tie it directly to a cost of service. So that's what we did in this rate study. The overall methodology, I should say, the Prop 218 process is we went through the workshops, as I explained earlier. We noticed the public about providing any type of written protests or comments, and we asked that the public send these in by July 8th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Please deliver it to our headquarters at 31592 West Street, Laguna Beach 92651. The letters must include the customer name, customer service address, statement of protest, so what are you protesting, and the description, and your original signature. There's only one protest per parcel, that's the law. Protests made by telephone, email, social media, or other electronic means will not be tabulated as valid written protests. Again, that's the law, straight from Prop 218. On that July 8th date at 6 p.m., we will be holding a public hearing. Please log on to our website for information on how you log on to that public hearing. Again, it's on Thursday, July 8th at 6 p.m. And that is the meeting where the board of directors will be considering the adoption of these new rates. This meeting is held virtually. There's an online login, or there's a telephone dial-in information that will be posted at scwd.org with the agenda. And that would conclude my presentation. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much. Look forward to you contacting us, and please, especially for any type of water conservation rebates or information that you need, we're always here. Thank you very much.